Welcome. Welcome. Good to see you here. I'm Aaron Davis. I'm Aaron Davis. Can you hear? Okay. I'm Aaron Davis, the club's current president. I would like to just have those who've been president of this club just raise your hand and look around at the tables that you're at and around. There's just been so much wonderful service. Thank you. And now, Phil S.U. for our pledge and reflection.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. I want to tell you just a quick story as my reflection. I was attending IU South Bend, and I'm leaving now to go up to IU South Bend for another Board of Advisors meeting. Got up in the morning, and one of my tire sensors said that pressure in my left rear tire was 26. The rest of them were all 33. I drove to a tire store, and they said, we can't do anything right now, but they put air in it. It held. I then went from there to IU Northwest in Gary, drove all the way back. I was fine. The tire was fine. The next morning, I went to see a tire store here in Bloomington, and they said, well, you've got a nail in your tire, in the shoulder of your tire, so you need to have your tires replaced. You have an all-wheel drive vehicle, and you can't just put one new tire on because the others. I have a lease car. I only have 3,000 miles before I get rid of it. And I said, well, how much is that? And he said, $1,100. And I said, well, when can you look at it? And he says, well, let's make an appointment. We'll do it maybe next week. I came home. I Googled tire stores in Bloomington. I came up with Tiemann, and they have all the evaluations and reviews. They were 4.9 out of a 5.0. So I thought, well, maybe I can get cheaper tires than $1,100. So I went to see them, went in there, and I said, here's the situation. The guy took a look at it, and he said, well, that tire's in the tread. I can plug it. 20 bucks. My reflection is, what's the four-way test? Is it the truth?
Okay, I would like to acknowledge our greeter, Art Omick, photographer Charlie Osborne, and Community Access Television Services. Also our roundabout reporter, Bill Perkins. And as a Rotarian, informed by respect for all professions and careers, I want to again acknowledge our food preparers, setup crews, servers, tech support, other staff, and the leadership at IMU. Now, Michael Shermis will introduce our guests.
Thanks, Aaron. We have three guests today, and if you'd stand so we can recognize you. Bob Bernacki, it's a guest of Tim Jessens. And John Ryan is a guest of Susie Grant. And finally, Susan Renee is a guest of mine. We love our guests at Rotary, so come back and join us.
And for the Rotary family, and of course that includes the North Club and the Sunrise Club, we'll have some birthdays this week. Tim Jessen, October 8th. Hal Turner, October 10th. Art Omick, October 11th. And Gil Souza, October 11th. Membership anniversaries, Sarah Laughlin, 11 years. Tim Jessen, 7 years total. Right, Tim? Close enough? Okay. Ann Connors, 3 years. And I do, on a sad note, want to note the passing of member Jerry Ellenwood at the age of 87. Jerry was an honorary member recently, but was a past president who had been in this club for 49 years, serving as our president in 1984 to 85. We will have a future reflection on by members who knew Jerry, but for now, I just ask for a moment of silence to remember Jerry Ellenwood, an outstanding Rotarian and Hoosier. Thank you. Rotarians in the news. Did you see yesterday's or today's Herald Times for great write-ups on the Rotary Toast and on other events that we've been involved with? So please check the HT. And a warm welcome to our newest members, RCV Roofing with Clint Baugh and Von Welch and Heather Bolzarth. So please make sure you get to introduce yourselves to them. Okay. Now, Ashley. As you probably know, our board has agreed to work with Civic Champs in developing a data system so that our members can easily sign in for service projects, making it easy to calculate our club service hours. So Ashley will introduce Civic Champs.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce Gung Wong and Ryan Underdahl, and they are the representatives from Civic Champs. It's going to be a wonderful partnership that we're launching to track our volunteer hours and more with them, and they will tell you all about it, but if you guys would come up. Thank you.
Aaron, you're a little taller than I am. Hi, my name is Gung. It's pronounced like gung ho. That's helpful. And this is Ryan. So we're with Civic Champs. We're based here in Bloomington. We're a social enterprise that just launched this year. We're really excited. Our goal is to automate volunteer management for nonprofits. And recently we also launched a new service to help convert those volunteers to donors. So our goal is to help make the experience easier for both the volunteers and the nonprofits, but also in the long term start to help generate a few more donations as well. So I know you guys had homework. Just quick raise of hands. How many people actually did their homework? Oh, excellent. Excellent, that's pretty good. And so there's a sign-in sheet, it's not a sign-in sheet, there's an instruction sheet on each table. Basically, if you search for Civic Champs on the App Store, we have a mobile application that you can use to check into different volunteer activities that Rotary is sponsoring or helping with. And so the idea is to relieve Natalie with some of the sort of the manual processes that she has to deal with today. She has to take a lot of time to enter everyone's hours and information, and this is sort of just one tap on your phone and sort of solves that for her. So that was the idea of where we want to get started with. And then the other thing is we'll be here for the next 4 weeks as well, just to help folks with onboarding. So if you have questions, we're going to stay afterwards to answer any questions folks might have. And then we'll be here next week too to answer questions and help folks that might want some help installing the application on their phone. With that, any questions or thoughts from folks? Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it.
I want to make sure John and Ryan at least acknowledge you guys are just part of a really big deal out, I forget exactly where it was, but a bunch of startup companies, very significant startup companies, they just presented, Gun just presented that. Give a quick second about that.
Sure. So yeah, we just came back from San Francisco. It was the competition was called TechCrunch Disrupt. It's online. You can see we have a video on our website now of the live pitch. We were chosen out of 700 applicants, companies. We were one of 18 that got selected. Previous winners were actually not even a winner. finalists were folks like Dropbox and a couple of really large companies like that. So we're super, super proud of what we've accomplished, but also just really, really blessed in terms of having that opportunity. So, yeah. No, thanks, Lauren.
Thank you. So, looking forward to a long and positive relationship. Rotary action updates. So most of these I'm only going to mention briefly. Be sure to check this week's roundabout for details or email me or Natalie. I'll also post them in our club's Facebook group. So how many of you are signed up and get Facebook posts? I really encourage it if you haven't. There's interesting stuff going on related to our club. Wonderlab Sprouts opening week volunteers. How many have volunteered? Yeah, well, Martha and I will be there tomorrow. So thank you. Are there any openings still? Natalie, do you know whether there's still openings for the Wonderlab? Okay. Okay. Anyway, our annual holiday party will be December 12th at the Bloomington Country Club, and Natalie and Ashley are already starting to plan for it, so watch out. Lunch buddies are going on the new quarter. Our next 505 gathering is October 17th. It'll be at a new location, Connor's Tap, which is near the corner of Henderson and Winslow on the south side. The Rotary Toast is going strong. If you haven't signed up yet or given a check to Natalie, please do. We could put together a table for members of our club, so we'll all be sitting together. It'll be fun. Frangipani remodeling, I just wanted to warn you, after October 2nd, we may not be back until May. Yeah. There will be improvements. It'll still be the Frangipani room, but definitely better, according to IMU director and Rotarian Hank Walter, and I know he's got to be telling the truth, okay? Happy Dollars. Susie.
Hey, I'm going to start with two happy dollars. One is for my friend John Ryan, who I'm very happy to have today. He's our representative of these both very good friends, personally and at IUTech. So, those are my two. Lauren.
My two are first for Gunn and Ryan being here. Thanks for being here, guys, and awesome business, excited about it, partnering with Rotary, and then also happy fall. Last night had our first bonfire outside with the family. It was awesome.
As has already been said, this is my birthday, my real birthday. I'm thankful for life and for my wonderful family and all of you Rotarians.
I have two happy dollars because Gunn and Ryan with Civic Champs are here, and I was able to run into them and make a pitch for a volunteer activity this Saturday for my sister's Colton. We're one of the test sites along with Habitat to be here in Bloomington, and we're very proud of them and happy about their venture, so here you go.
I'm doing happy dollars because Rotary sponsored Science Sprouts Place, and it is probably the most exciting thing that we have had done at Wonderlab in the 17 years I've been there. It's really, really wonderful, and I want to also just call out, there are a lot of volunteers, but there are people that Karen wanted me to call out here who have helped, and I know that there will be volunteers in the future, but thank you to Sarah Laughlin, Steve Engel, Peggy Frisbee, Liz Friedel, thank you, Christina Swanson, and Judy Schroeder. So thank you all.
Steve.
I'm happy just because I'm leaving on vacation Thursday for 2 weeks.
I'm happy because yesterday was our midterm exam in the class I've been teaching. 10th time I've taught this class. It's the first time in all those 10 times that everybody has passed.
Facebook reminded me this morning that returned from leading a delegation for the State Department for the American Documentary Showcase to Singapore and Myanmar. And I have had some really amazing adventures, and I think that was among the greatest of all of those.
$2 one, to express our appreciation to our president, and secondly, we need to send you to bell ringing school.
This December, right? Okay, thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody for their brevity, which means that the speaker has their appropriate amount of time. And I'd like to call up Leslie Green now to introduce our program.
Well, perhaps you've seen, or perhaps you haven't seen, that October is National Disabilities Employment Awareness Month. And we commemorate this every year in a number of ways. And I just thought it was a good time to bring to you all some information about how people with disabilities are entering the workforce. And I can think of two better people than my colleagues, Bidda DeWeese and Mary Ellen Jones. I want to tell you a little bit about them. Bidda has worked for Stonebelt for 29 years. She oversees employment and supported living residential programs. She has served in a variety of progressively responsible roles while she's been at Stonebelt. In fact, she started as a direct support professional. At Stonebelt, both areas are known for their innovative approaches. Both areas she oversees are known for their innovative approaches and high-quality supports. She recently initiated the pre-employment transition services for students 14 to 21. This focuses on developing skills needed for employment after high school. She is the recipient of state and national awards from the ARC of Indiana and APSE, the Association for People Supporting Employment First. She previously served as the president of the Indiana chapter of APSE. Bidda has also received the Visionary Leadership Award from Stonebelt. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology from Indiana University. Mary Ellen Jones is a mother of 11 and has raised children with disabilities. Her passion lies in the transition and employment field. She started this path working for transition programs in the schools. She's the coordinator of our employment services at Stonebelt. She oversees pre-employment transition services in 5 schools, project search, and manages employees executing searches for employment. Helping others search for employment. Mary Ellen sits on the Transition Council, which is aimed at helping people exit school with jobs, the Conference Committee of the Indiana APSE chapter, and the Work to Include Coalition, whom is headed up by Susan Rennie, who's here with us today. All of these are aimed at making sure that people with disabilities find meaningful careers. Mary Ellen has presented at both state and national conferences. She is an Awards of Excellence winner from Stonebelt, which means she's been recognized as our top 1% of employees. So she also graduated from Ivy Tech with an accounting and graduated magna cum laude. So I'm very excited to have both Bidda and Mary Ellen to talk to you about the exciting work they're doing. Come on back.
Thanks for having us. If there's one thing I know both Mary Ellen and I love to do, it's talk about employment for people with disabilities. So we just have a few slides prepared for you. We're going to talk about 3 different employment areas and then one really exciting program we're doing here in October. So I'm going to start just by telling you about our employment services. Matching qualified employment candidates to job openings out in the community is incredibly important. We help employers meet their hiring needs. Many of us as employers are having a terrible time finding good qualified employees. As a matter of fact, I've been doing employment for 29 years and I don't know that I've ever seen it be quite this hard to find good quality employees. There are so many jobs. But tapping into this diverse labor pool of people with disabilities can really help. People with disabilities overwhelmingly want to work. More than double the unemployment rate, though, of people without disabilities. The number of workers aged 18 to 64 participating in the workforce is even more telling. For people with disabilities, under 20% of that group are working. For people without disabilities, over 65% of people who want to work in that age group are working. We need to fix that. So Stonebelt Employment Services offers opportunities for job seekers to explore their interests and develop a career plan. We can help candidates try out jobs, find out what's a good fit, let them actually experience that in a good community setting. That also gives the employer a chance to see if that employee is a good fit and can handle the job within their business. We also help employers explore the vacancies they have within their business and perhaps think of a different way of structuring the jobs they have so that they can actually get better qualified candidates. Our goal for all of our clients is permanent community employment. The clients that we support through Stonebelt typically have an average retention rate of more than 5 years at their jobs. In the average workforce, it's less than 5 years. And for workers aged 24 to 32, it's only 3.2 years. So again, if you hire somebody with a disability, you will tend to get a longer-term employee. So the big plug I want to push to a group of employers is let Stonebelt Employment Services help you meet your hiring needs. Let us help you match with qualified candidates who happen to have disabilities. And now I'm going to pass it over to Mary Ellen, who wants to tell you about an event we're having here in October. I'll let her say. If you just push the button. Yeah.
Jabapalooza, can you hear me okay? Okay, good. I'm usually really loud. It's an event we're having October 23rd during National Disability Employment Awareness Month. I'm super excited about this. It's a community collaborative event, so Stonebelt and Life Designs have partnered together to have this big event at the warehouse. We have invited businesses to come along and have task stations for clients. So the clients are going to be Stonebelt clients, Life Designs clients, and students from MCCSC that are in the special ed department. So we're targeting juniors and seniors. It's going to give individuals that have disabilities the opportunity to try out a bunch of different jobs in one day. So we're still seeking kind of employers if you want to sign up and you as a business to be part of that. The businesses, it's a great day for networking. You'll get gift baskets as well as be fed all day. You can see the talent pool out there without having to commit to anything. But again, it's just a really good opportunity to be part of this community engagement.
And there's flyers on your table. The yellow flyers are about that event. So if anybody does want to participate, make sure you try and catch us today or within the next day or two, because they are finalizing the employers for that event. The next thing we want to talk about is a couple of specific programs that Stonebelt runs that really focus on our youth or our young adults who are in the world of seeking employment. First is Project Search, and then Mary Ellen will talk about pre-employment transition, which we've mentioned a couple times. Project Search is an internship program for young adults age 18 to 24 that offers soft skills training and internships to help prepare this population for the workforce. It's a really unique and neat program that we started in 2010 that's a partnership between Cook Incorporated, Ivy Tech, Upland Brewery, Stonebelt, and the Family Social Service Administration for the state of Indiana. The way this program works is it happens in a classroom at Ivy Tech, so for these young adults, they're getting the college campus experience. And while in the classroom, they learn what we call the soft skills, the skills that you need no matter where you're going to work or who your employer is. So we practice interviewing skills, social skills, meeting employer expectations, and more. Then the interns spend time working every day at either Cook, Ivy Tech, Upland, or Stonebelt. During the program, they complete 3 different internship opportunities that each last 2 months long. During that time, the interns get a really great opportunity to learn a lot about what they want to do, and sometimes more importantly, what they don't want to do, or what they really don't like. This group typically hasn't had a lot of work experience, so that can become really important in their job search and helping figure out where they're headed in their careers. But what's equally amazing, and the thing that I've been so impressed by in this program, is how much these young adults grow in confidence and in their belief in themselves. I think I have seen this program set so many young adults on a really firm career path. The goal at the completion of the program is permanent employment, just like almost all of what we do. This program's been very successful. 80% of the young adults who've completed this program since 2010 have found permanent employment at either one of our host business or out in the community. And that represents, I believe at this point, about 80 young adults. So pretty exciting. Mary Ellen's going to wrap up with the last program we want to talk about.
Employment Foundations teaches individuals pre-employment transition services. So this is going to be all of the stuff before employment, before they enter our employment program. Stonebelt oversees a collaborative that serves in 13 counties and nearly 30 schools in our partnership with 3 other providers. Stonebelt serves all of Bloomington, Bedford, Mitchell, and Columbus schools. We work with students ages 14 to 21 to help prepare them for the future workforce. This can happen individually or in classroom settings. It can also happen in the workplace. It depends on the student's interest and their needs, and we tailor the program specifically to each individual. The 5 categories that we can work in are career counseling and job exploration. And in that, we can do volunteer opportunities, job shadows, informational interviews. We host classes and love when businesses come in and tell our students about their business and what it takes to work there and what they would need to work there. Workplace readiness training is all the soft skills and covers all of the on and off job important stuff, cell phone usage, hygiene, transportation, anything that they would need to be a good employee. We cover self-advocacy. Stuff in that area would be to disclose or not to disclose, or how to ask for accommodations appropriately. Work experiences can be paid or non-paid internships. This is where students get to actually try out different jobs. It's a chance for the employer to evaluate the student and see if maybe they would be a potential employee. It also gives us the ability to help them find their interests, their dislikes, and then maybe areas that they may need accommodations in. And then we also can help with post-secondary counseling. And that has been really big for us, where we help individuals go to Ivy Tech, per se, and help them figure out what their accommodations there would be. Because frequently in school, it's they have an IEP and they're entitled to that, but then when they go to Ivy Tech, they have to ask for those things. So those are areas that we work on too. Oops.
So we're going to show you a little video about what students in the pre-employment transition program think about it. Do I?
You have to escape.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was pulled up on the bottom.
I thought it was too, but I don't see it. Yeah, I do now. All right, let me get that restarted. We were testing it earlier. Sorry.
Hello, I'm Madeline. By the way, I do photo stage. We have two other things. The most important, I'm real social, so good.
Yes, it's a program that helps with pre-education before getting work, like getting jobs and stuff.
I love kind of like experiencing new things. It kind of like opened an opportunity for me to like explore what other passions that I have, not just like for one specific subject, but for many other ones. And I get to learn so much from other people.
The pre-ex program has meant to me so much. It showed me how other people are also affected in ways that I am also. And it has shown me what the real workforce and what the real world is like. And it's me through high school completely.
I learned how to take feedback in a positive way, not a negative way, because I'm not a person who takes criticism or feedback well. It feels like I'm being attacked on those things, so I learned how to take it from not being negative to making it positive, being like, oh, this can help me, like this can make my job better and not worse. It was very helpful. She taught me how to apply for college, for scholarships, or anything that I needed to do for my adult life.
Grants, I think grants is an awesome way to help people with disabilities like me.
I'm getting a job in the YMCA.
Through grants, help me.
Self-advocacy, advocating for myself. That is one thing that I've always struggled with, and now I feel very confident with it. Because if you can't advocate for yourself, you can't go and lead. You have to be able to speak for yourself.
It's a good program. You learn new things, meet different people. It might be hard sometimes, but you do it, you all love it though. I think it's a good program. I'm glad I'm ready to go.
So I think that was a little hard to hear, sorry about that, but. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with a campaign we did last month. I want to tell you about the top 10 reasons to hire a person with a disability. Because hiring good qualified candidates definitely makes good business sense. And these are not what we think, but what employers have said are the best reasons to hire people with disabilities. Dependability and flexibility has been shown repeatedly that people with disabilities tend to have lower rates of absenteeism and better show up for work and step up to the plate when asked to take on new tasks. Employee engagement. It improves morale and productivity. 80% of employers state employees with disabilities are as productive or more than any other employee. Customer loyalty. Research shows employing people with disabilities taps into a huge market of customers. $220 billion in discretionary spending each year from people with disabilities. Furthermore, 92% of consumers reflect favorably on businesses that hire, and 87% prefer doing businesses with companies that hire people with disabilities. There's no job performance difference. Again, I talked earlier about the match we make. Stonebelt can really help you find qualified candidates, and people with disabilities are qualified for the jobs they fill within your business. And that can motivate coworkers and others to do better, which leads to increased productivity. There are tax incentives out there that can benefit you as an employer when you are getting in that initial year of hiring somebody, in case there are additional expenses. Your return on investment. Studies have shown that for every dollar spent on a reasonable accommodation, businesses gain $10 to $35 in benefits from that. And most accommodations actually cost well under $500 if they're needed at all. A large majority of those are free. They just take a little creativity. You have increased profits. Many employers have hired workers who have seen a positive impact on their bottom line. And diversity in the workforce, that's a big topic among employers, and people with disabilities are included in that labor pool and can really help you create better solutions to business challenges. I talked earlier about what an untapped labor pool this is. It's a really difficult time to find qualified employees. If you can have a company like Stonebelt that'll help you know what somebody's skills are and help know what your business needs are and make that match, you're much more likely to retain that employee. Job retention, didn't even realize that one was next, but that was a good segue. Many workers with disabilities demonstrate high levels of loyalty and remain with their employers for years. I talked about the specific statistics within our organization, and that has certainly proven true. And finally, everyone benefits. When we shift the focus to an employee's ability, everyone benefits, from management to frontline workers to customers. So I don't know if anybody has questions about what we presented, but we're really happy to be here today with you.
Sure. So do you want to know from an employer standpoint? So there's some flyers on the tables, but you would just sign up with me, preferably soon, and you would tell me how many individuals would come and represent your place of business. So say you're sending 3. It's 10 to 3, but we're asking employers to show up at 9. And you would have a task station. So whatever, you can choose a task that represents a task at your place of employment. And you're going to have that task initiated by the clients that come through. There's a very simple, user-friendly score sheet with 5 questions, and so the clients that will perform the task, you'll score them on more like accuracy and efficiency. So when they leave, they'll leave with a good sense of what they liked, what they didn't like, and then what they were good at. So the employers will just host a station with a task. And it can be taught either verbally, maybe you have written instructions, but I am more than happy to figure out what that task is with you or anybody that's interested.
I want to say really quick, I've worked closely with Mary Ellen with our haircut business the last few years, and it's been phenomenal. She's and her team have removed a ton of pain points, made it very easy to collaborate and partner together. And it's been great for our team. We're proud, it brings joy to us to be able to work with them and help solve the problem that they're working to solve. So just from an employer standpoint, I didn't hang off the business. I haven't announced it yet. I haven't even cash for Happy Dollars, but so a couple weeks ago, I'm no longer the owner, operator of Clifford & Soul, but we built it up, we transformed it, renamed it, and developed these partnerships, this being one of them, and it's been transformative for us. So again, from my perspective, with your nonprofit or business, 2 thumbs up, really positive experience.
Can you give us any sense about what numbers of clients you've processed? Who has jobs? How many jobs?
Well, Stonebelt's been providing employment services since 1986, so I can't do the total number. I've been there a lot of those years. But in the past, just like in a typical year, we serve approximately 200 people in employment services. Probably about 40 of those are looking for jobs, and the rest of them are employed either in the early phases or in a long-term status where we just provide a little bit of support to the employer. And we probably average 50 to 60 placements per year. But we're constantly getting new clients coming in, and for many of our clients, once they're successful, we close them out. We don't stay involved with them forever. We're really about making that connection with you, the employer, making sure all the supports you need are in place, and then moving on to help the next person.
How do we address opportunities that we may have as a business that doesn't fit with this model? I'm trying to think about
Well, one of the, how do we address within our business ways that we could help work on this without fitting into the Jobapalooza model?
Yeah, I do it, Jobapalooza. Huh? How could you participate in Jobapalooza? Yeah, yeah. I don't know that I could bring a small task
Okay.
that somebody could perform at a table.
Mary Ellen can meet with you separately after and just learn a little bit about what you do, and then we could figure out if there was something we could figure out there.
I'm just curious, I see a lot of help wanted signs in stores around town, like Kroger's. Do you proactively go out to some of these businesses and talk about your services in an effort to place these folks?
Every day, yes. That's a huge part of what we do, is to do that. Leslie, I'm going to get somebody behind you first.
Sandy with My Sister's Closet. We are going to have a booth at Jobapalooza. So to answer the question about an example, you are providing our booth with electricity, and we are going to be training students that are coming through, or participants, in how to use a steamer or how to tag a piece of clothing. Those are transferable skills that can be used in different industries. We are probably going to have some other tasks for them to do, but they will be small, segmented pieces where they can get an idea of what might be happening if they had a job in this type of industry. We'll have a list of different industries that they could possibly use those skills in.
Yeah, thank you. That's one of my favorite ones. Clerical, filing, typing, alphabetizing, cleaning, janitorial, just to rattle off a few sort of small tasks that most businesses have.
I wanted Mary Ellen to talk a little bit more about the self-advocates and maybe a special event that's coming up for them.
So we have a self-advocates class, and we've developed a self-advocates group this year that has become the first self-advocates group in the state of transition age students. So we got registered with Self-Advocates of Indiana, and we are the first one of our kind. All the other ones are adult ages. And so on October 23rd, during Javapalooza, we're being recognized. We're getting the Champion Award at the Self-Advocates of Indiana Luncheon. Yeah. The project at the birthday party. So we kicked off Self-Advocates with Lemonade Day. I don't know how many people here are familiar with Lemonade Day, ran by Boys and Girls Club, and so we thought what a great way to teach them some entrepreneurship skills, some leadership skills. They had to go out and ask for donations. And because we were starting with nothing, and we had nothing, and they had to explain what Self-Advocates was and what it means and why they were asking for donations. They got enough donations to serve 400 cups of lemonade. We did not sell that many, but we got that many. So we have enough to be able to do Lemonade Day next year without asking for donations. And so it was a great kickoff, and then they ended up winning because Boys and Girls Clubs comes around and judges the booth. They got best of the best, second runner-up for best of the best for our lemonade stand. So that was our big kickoff for Self-Advocates. The purpose of this group is really to teach the students about the services available to them as young adults. Because like I said, I sit on the Transition Council, and it's really difficult to get that information to families. So we thought, let's start with the students and use a peer-to-peer teaching to get that information out. So we're having once a month, we have a speaker series. Next week is our second one. We have it on the third Monday of every month, and this month is about guardianship and supported decision-making. So they're gonna learn about and waiver services, trust, anything that's available to them as young adults. We're trying to teach them and take that back to their families. And to kind of answer your question real quick, it doesn't have to be a small task. I'm about really big things too. Bloomington Ford actually is participating, and they wanted to bring a car and do some sort of detailing. So I'm just giving you that as in it doesn't have to be little, we can be grandiose as well. And we're also taking volunteers for the event. So if you don't have a task and you're not part of a business and you'd like to be part of Javapalooza, volunteers would be great, and that probably would tie into you guys somehow.
Way to work the room.
So thank you, Beta and Mary Ellen. I have to comment also that Rotary International is making a big emphasis on inclusion, and that includes people with disabilities. So I greatly appreciate your attention and all the business efforts to do that, because that's what's fair. It's fair to all concerned. It's beneficial. So thank you for a great presentation. Let's see, next week, October 15th, we'll be back here in the Frangipani room to hear our own Jim Capshew, IU's official historian, talking on Herman Wells and IU's local community relations. Next week's greeter, well, next week's roundabout reporter again is Bill Perkins. Thought for the week: establishing lasting peace is the work of education. All politics can do is keep us out of war. That's from Maria Montessori. Establishing, wow, easy to say that. Establishing lasting peace is the work of education. All politics can do is keep us out of war, hopefully. So please join me in reciting the four-way test. +1. Of the things we think, say, do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third would build goodwill, better friendships. Fourth would be beneficial to all concerned. And fifth, is it fun?